This is the Shaver Prep Football Podcast, episode 30, season 2, presented by Aquarius Home Services and brought to you by True Stone Financial, 612 Quarterbacks, Pizza Barn, and powered by 10K Construction. Week 2 of the Minnesota high school football season is in the books. Couple of big wins. Maple Grove came back to beat Eden Prairie 28-14. They're now 2-0 on the season. And Howard Lake Waverly beat perennial Class 3A power Dassel Cokato by that same score. 28-14 was the final. Becker High announced in their game program Friday night their Mount Rushmore of players over 55 years. Dylan Radens, who plays for the Saints in the NFL, Shane Potter, Brandon Novak, and Jared Postumus. The Becker community voted all spring and summer leading up to the big reveal. Pretty cool thing on Friday night. Our Talk North Walk the Talk winner this week is Hastings junior running back Zach Shatek. On Friday night, he rushed for 376 yards on 26 carries and 5 touchdowns in a 46-19 win over Jefferson. Hastings is now 2-0. All right, Zach Shatek joins me now. He, of course, had a monster night on Friday, 376 yards on 26 carries, 5 touchdowns. I know you can't do it all by yourself.
Yes, sir.
So here's your chance to give a shout out to that offensive line. Tell me how well they played on Friday night for you.
They played amazing. I know we had obviously some penalties that we didn't obviously want. We could have played a lot better, but I mean, our O-line, we did amazing. They were amazing. I offered them to get ice cream after the game because they did so good. I was like, I'm gonna get y'all all ice cream. I'm gonna hook y'all all up. So we're gonna get ice cream probably today, or get some Perkins or something like that.
Good for you.
They did amazing. I mean, blocking, opening up the holes for me, making me just obviously shine. But they were the real deal.
So you have five touchdowns, 78, 17, 2 yards, 42, and 80. Was there one play? Was there something that was working so well for you Friday night?
I would say the tosses, and I would say anything like a dive, power play that was just going our way, but like mainly tosses. So like if I get the edge, I know I'm gonna just go. Just gives me the chance to just go do my thing out there. Just my speed.
Your touchdowns this week were a little bit different than the week before because you had 3 the week before, but they were all long drives. They ended long drives in that game. This game, it sounds like you got a chance to show off the speed here. Got a chance to stretch it out a little bit with the 78s and the 80-yard touchdown run. Feel that way?
Yes, sir. So last week, obviously I didn't have any 20+ yard run. And then going into this week, the coaches were like, hey, we should try and get some, more explosive runs, more explosive plays going. So that was the main priority going into this week. Cause I know last week we didn't have much obviously 20-yard runs, but they were just all 14, 16, 15, 12, 11, just runs like that.
Hey, that stuff works though too, right? You don't always have to break off the big run. Tell me your height and weight, and how would you describe yourself as a running back? What makes you good?
So my height and weight, I'm 6 foot, 185. And I would say my biggest skill is, I think I'm a complete all-around back. I can block, I can catch, I can run, I have power, as I can showcase in some of my highlights. Yep. But the biggest thing my biggest skill, I would say, is just making people miss, breaking tackles. That's one thing I improved on during the offseason with my trainer, Tyrell. He's been amazing. Sports Leadership Academy, Underdog Performance, they've been working with me, getting me ready for the season, and I feel amazing. We're 2-0 right now. We're looking really good.
You're off to a great start. You get Chaska coming up on Friday. They're also 2-0 heading into there, and I guess you would consider Chaska a perennial power in Class 5A. Tell me about this football game on Friday night and what gets you excited about playing a really good football team like that in a beautiful venue that you have down there at Hastings. I don't think there's a better bowl stadium than the one that you play in on Friday nights.
Yes, sir. So going into next Friday, it's just all about staying consistent. Obviously, I ran for 200 yards week 1 and then 300 yards week 2, but it's like, hey, this kid ran for 200 yards week 1. Is he the real deal? He ran for 300 week 2. Is he the real deal? But let's see if he can do it again against a really good team, and that's what I want to go do.
26 carries, 376 yards, 5 touchdowns. Have you ever had anything close to that? Maybe when you were a young guy playing youth football, did you ever have a game where it just everything clicked like it did for you this last Friday?
It's always been like this, always. I mean, even like I can think back to like flag football days. This is just what I do. Like I remember last year, that's what I just do, 200 plus yards. Freshman year, just been dominating. And then 8th grade, 7th grade, that's just what I've been doing.
Well, congratulations to you on a big night. You're off to a great start. As of right now, in looking at the statistics around the state, if you're not the leader in rushing yards in the state of Minnesota, you're pretty close. I haven't seen anybody get nearly 6, whatever your yardage total is. I think it's almost 700 yards, something like that already, or 600 yards. So you're off to a great start. Congratulations, Zach. Good luck against Chaska on Friday.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Minnetonka running back Caleb Francois and Prior Lake tackle Ethan Beckman have something in common. Both are playing college football next year for that other Iowa team, a school I'm very familiar with. Ethan Beckman and Caleb Francois are here. Both are heading to Iowa State to play college football next year. But before that, one last season of Friday Night Lights. Ethan plays for Prior Lake and Caleb with Minnetonka. Thanks for being here, you guys. Let's talk a little bit about the positions that you play, because yours is changing. Mark Esch tells me you're moving to running back, which is actually probably the natural position for you, even though you played quarterback the last couple of years. Talk about that change, what you look forward to the most in making that switch.
Yeah, so after the season, Esch, he changed the position to running back, and then at that point, it's just switching the mentality from like doing it for the team, and then we got a good junior coming up, Caden Gutzmer.
Okay.
It's a really solid quarterback, and I'm looking forward to it.
So did you go to him or did he come to you? How did that work?
He came to me. And
you were open to it right away?
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what Iowa State looks at you as, correct?
Yeah.
They see you as playing that position.
Yeah.
Takes a little bit of pressure off of being the quarterback.
It does, yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah, quarterback, you definitely got to know a lot, know what everybody's doing. Running back, you kind of hone in on like your specific job, and then you guys got to obviously know what the defense is doing, but it's a lot of pressure taken off.
So it's a leadership role. Either way, you're going to be a leader no matter what position you play, but it's a little bit different when you have to play quarterback. Yeah. For you, offensive line, nothing changes, right? I mean, you're just up front pushing people around. Where are you right now, height, weight wise, as you head into this year?
I'm like 6'4.5", 6'5", about 350.
Okay, 350. Is that where you want to be?
I mean, Iowa State, they really don't look at like weight.
Okay.
They look at body fat percentage.
Yep.
And that's what I'm trying to drop right now. So I'm just trying to eat like the same amount of calories, but just more protein.
Yeah.
And maybe like less more calories. But yeah, I'm just like 28% right now.
Okay.
27.
So as you start this season and get through the season with Prior Lake, do you normally lose weight as the season goes along?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially like fall camp.
Has that happened to you in the past?
Like fall camp, I'm like drenched. Like every spot of my body is drenched, like just dropping weight like crazy.
Right. So what do you look forward to the most going to Iowa State? Why was it Iowa State for you?
Definitely the coaches. I don't have like one bad thing to say about them. I love them like to death. I die for them. Especially like the culture too. Like the people there are just amazing. You can't beat it.
Yeah, I saw some article which was ranking the 64 Power 4 teams, and Iowa State was like 19. I mean, they've really got things way different than when I went to school there. Trust me, they've really got things turned around. What was it about Iowa State for you that sold you?
A lot of it was the coaches as well.
Okay,
they're great. great coaching staff. I liked how young they were.
Okay.
I think the oldest one is Jake Landry. He's my
Yeah.
coach. He's like 35. So that was probably the biggest one.
They kind of relate better, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously like what we were talking about before on the way in with like it being like a football school, kind of like a college town.
It's a campus town.
Yeah.
I mean, Ames is a campus town. When school's in session, it's an amazing place to be. When school's off for the summer, it's kind of dead, you know? And that's kind of what, you know, the U of M is not a campus town, basically, right? It's in the inner city.
Yeah.
So there's a difference in that, and it's a different vibe altogether. Have you been to games at Jack Trice? Have you experienced that? What was it like?
Yeah, I went to the game where they played Central Florida.
Okay.
That one came down to the wire. I think Rocco had to sneak it in for a touchdown, or maybe it was 2 points. But
how about the atmosphere?
It was insane. It was really cool to witness.
Yeah, how about for you?
I think I didn't miss a home game last year.
Really?
Yeah, because I got offered after the North Dakota game, and then I loved it so much I can't stop going back.
You know what's great about Iowa State is that it's close enough, yet it's far enough, right?
Yeah.
It's close enough that your family can come watch you, but it's far enough where your family's not close. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 3.5 hours away from the Twin Cities. How are you guys a different football player than you were a year ago? How are you a different player, do you think, right now than you were a year ago?
I feel like my mentality's like definitely switched because I've like.
In what way?
I feel like I've been getting more physical recently because like growing up, I was always like kind of a soft guy.
Okay.
So I feel like
that's kind of tough to admit a little bit, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, but yeah, just because I didn't have like a very good season last year in my eyes.
Yeah.
So I just like have to put in perspective that I need to be like more physical than everybody and like more mentally tough.
So how do you achieve that? What are the things you work on to achieve that?
Well, you know, we got a hill at Prior Lake, so just be running that. And then just bringing the intensity in practice.
Yeah.
And then having the defense share that same intensity just ramps it up for everybody.
It makes you better.
Yeah.
Like when you go up against guys that are in it like you are, that's what makes you better. How about for you? You're switching positions, so that's one thing, but how are you a better, different football player than a year ago?
I think definitely leadership role is really big. Just kind of getting the younger kids. We got a lot of young kids coming up on defense and offense. So I think just me being able to show them like how things are done. I've been here for 2 years.
Yep.
I can kind of walk them on the ropes of how we do things at Minnetonka.
You guys both play for outstanding head coaches. I mean, Matt Gegenheimer at Prior Lake and Mark Esch. You just don't get any better than that in Minnesota. What's something that you've learned from Mark that you will take with you? Something he said, is there something that has really hit home for you in your relationship with him?
Especially during playoffs, his like main message was just take one day at a time. No matter like how hard things got, how difficult the road was, just to take each little thing at a time and then focus on the little things as well.
How about for you? You know, Matt he's all tatted up. He's a little bit different than most coaches out there, right?
A little more intense.
He's a free spirit is how I call Matt Gegenheimer. But what are some of the things that you've learned from Matt?
Probably one of the main things I've learned from him is like powering through adversity.
Yeah.
That's like one of his main messages to us, like every time we meet. And like, especially during fall camp, like it gets hard. Like that's for every program, but like the same message repeated like over and over again. It's just like gets locked in your head and then you start to do it. But like he also has this thing called Grit Team Love, GTL, and grit, obviously, and then team and then love.
Yeah. Is there one thing when you lay at bed at night and you think about next year that keeps you awake, that you're dreaming about, you think about? What would that be? What's the one thing you think about? Wow, next level, it's going to be like this or like that.
Yeah, definitely walking out the tunnel at Jack Trice.
Yeah,
it's going to be electric, especially like the homecoming game. At home, it's like they got fireworks going off everywhere. It's insane. It's super fun.
How about for you? What's the one thing that keeps you awake?
Definitely like the atmosphere. When I was down there, it was really loud, really fun. So I think just playing in front of that many people is like the biggest thing I look forward to. And then obviously the fireworks as well.
Yeah. Pretty cool. There are 10 Minnesota high school football players right now who have committed to Power 4 programs. That's pretty awesome. In fact, that may be the most that we've seen in a long time. So here are two of them sitting right here that are going to get that chance. Thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. Good to see you guys again. Thanks, Caleb.
Thank you.
Good luck throughout the rest of the season. I know you see each other like week 4. That'll be fun. Hopefully you're healthy and ready to get after it.
Sure.
Thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you for having us on.
We'll be right back. If you don't have a lucky number, let me offer up 29. This is Randy Shaver, and 29 is the number that will keep you warm as the temperatures start to drop. 29. Aquarius Home Services is offering a $29 furnace tune-up right now when you need it. $29 for a worry-free winter of warmth. And don't forget to ask about their no breakdown guarantee. 29 is your lucky number. Visit AquariusHomeservices.com today. All right, Darrell Thompson is my guest, and for those of a maybe younger age, they probably see you as the Gopher football analyst on radio and the high school football championship analyst. Maybe don't realize how much you are ingrained in football in Minnesota as a player. And I say that because you were a great high school player at JM, Rochester. You obviously a great player for the Gophers, played in the NFL for 5 years or so. So, I mean, it's funny how generations look at maybe you differently. Do you get that a little bit too? That people
I get
don't?
that, and it's also been, I've been blessed to have some athletic children.
Yes.
So like
for sure.
I'm in the stands and we're talking, and someone, hey man, he used to play. And now it's the wonders of the internet. So a kid can look up and goes, oh man, you used to be fast. I said, yeah, I used to be. I used to be fast. I used to be quick. I used to be able to jump. I said, all those things are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True transparency. I met Darrell Thompson on the football field at Bloomington Jefferson. As a senior, I believe you came there for a scrimmage on a Saturday morning. And I interviewed you for TV at the time when I was working for Channel 11. And I know you and I've talked about that moment. That was kind of like your first foray into TV.
It was my first interview.
It was your
so
first
I'm always,
interview.
If I get a call or a text from Mr. Shaver, I respond. But yeah, I was like, they said, yeah, those guys want to talk to you over there. And I was like, what do you want to talk about? We're going to talk about football.
Yeah.
So I came over, and you were, of course, very kind and gracious, and just kind of, you're just interviewing a kid. And I was like, okay, so that's it. So that was my very first TV interview. So I'm always flattered. Every time I see you, I hearken back to that when I was young and fresh and didn't know what was going on.
Well, for those that don't know, Darrell Thompson played high school football at Rochester John Marshall. You played for the great John Drew, longtime head football coach there. Talk about your high school days. What do you remember the most that stands out about Friday Night Lights in Rochester?
Just the friendships, the relationships, how big of a deal it is to play on Friday night when you're in high school and you wear your jerseys to school. I don't even know if they do that anymore, but yeah, we used to wear our jerseys to school, and you have like a pep rally and everything is like just all this fervor, and I go home and I would eat and I try to take like a quick nap. And then I would like get up and come back to the the school like around whatever time that was, and then be ready to play. And then the crowd and the warm-ups, everything had the juices flowing. And football has a great tradition at Rochester John Marshall. So it was just fun to be, for 2 or 3 years, to be part of that tradition.
So as you go on through your Gopher career and then played in the NFL for the Packers and the Bears, as you look back, and I hear this a lot from former NFL players, even current ones, that was the best time of their life for football, was high school. That was the time that, when they think about all of it, that's the time that stands out.
I would agree.
Yeah,
like
really.
we still talk to those guys. There's a group of the guys you still text, you still get together, you still like at the class reunion. You kind of end up kind of like kind of hanging out with each other, just kind of sharing the memories and the runs and the hits and the missed tackles and all those things. So yeah, it's there's just nothing like when you play with people from the time that you're like say 9 or 10 years old to the time you're like 16 or 17, you're like with them, against them. Then you have the crosstown rival of the other guys that you've like kind of known, and you play basketball against them with them and football against them with them. You run track against them and with them. So there's all that, just the fun, like literally knowing probably like 80% of the guys on other teams' name and all the guys on your team and their background and their moms and their dads and their brothers and their sisters. So there's just nothing like the granularity of it.
All right, I'm going to blow your mind here for a second because Darrell Thompson was a McDonald's All-American in basketball, correct?
Yeah.
A Gatorade All-American in football, and an outstanding track athlete. I don't know if I can think of any other player that has those kind of accolades in high school. That's the true epitome of a three-sport athlete, and that's the way life was back in your day, my day.
Yeah.
You didn't specialize. You played everything, and you loved everything.
Well, also there just even wasn't the call for it either.
Yeah,
so like
that's right.
literally like during football season, we just played football. I wasn't traveling, finishing out an AAU season or anything like that, or playing like baseball or like, and I ran some track, and right now track would be a bigger deal than it was when I was running track. I might've ran track in the summertime. And obviously, you know, basketball was another thing I was at the Bethel All-Star camp, and that was it. Yeah. Like, you're a Bethel All-Star. That means, okay, so you're pretty good. That was it. And I don't think they're even doing that anymore. Yeah. Yeah. Kids are traveling all over the world.
Yeah. You go on to play for the Gophers, a couple of 1,000-yard seasons, your freshman, sophomore year. You have a great career at the U. What do you remember the most about that? I know that was a great time in your life. What made that time special?
I just say the relationships playing for the University of Minnesota, which I probably didn't really get. I think
Really?
there was an energy. It was fun to be part of the home state, and I kind of got it during recruiting from people like yourself, and obviously the late great Sid Hartman and other, you know, Charlie Walters and a lot of the writers, and then like just the people and the community being like, oh, hey, you know, Bobby Bell and Bronco Nagurski and all the Carl Eller, all the great players, Rick Upchurch, to be able to meet them and to be around them and have them come back. Those were probably some of my favorite memories. Obviously playing like with Ricky Foggy and other folks, and then playing against a lot of great players as well.
Sid Hartman could never understand why a great high school football player in Minnesota would ever leave. And the reason for it was, when your football career is done and you're a former Gopher, and we have all these Fortune 500 companies in the Twin Cities, you could write your ticket, basically. There's something to that, right? I mean, when you're a former Gopher, there is something to just how much those guys are beloved in the state.
Well,
of
I mean,
Minnesota.
you look at Jim Peterson, you look at Trent Tucker, you look at a lot of the great players, Kevin McHale.
Yes.
It always, to me, when you're a good or a great player, it's going to show. It doesn't matter if you go to Nebraska during my era, or if you go to Duke, or if you go to Oklahoma, it's going to come through eventually. The cream will rise. And I kind of got it and didn't get it at the same time. A little at practice. I was like, oh, I can play with these guys. I can play with these guys. And I make a catch and I'd be like, hey man, that's good. And I was like, oh, I can do this. And then I don't think I know that would happen wherever you're at. Because when you go play against someone, a Michigan or an Iowa or Texas or something like that, you have success and you're like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah. So you get drafted by the Packers, and I've got to hear, there's a Reggie White story that you tell.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long it is, but maybe give us like the condensed version of this Reggie White story when you were at the Packers.
So, Reggie White's a phenomenal player and a great human being, and is a man of the cloth, a man of the Lord, great person. Great personality. So anyways, to condense the story, we're doing, it's offense against defense. Reggie's filling in on defense because you don't have a scout team in the NFL. Yeah. So you have guys have to help on the look squad. Yeah. Reggie's coming off. Reggie never buttons his chin strap in practice, which is, that's fine. It's no big deal. He's Reggie White. He's fully established. He'd already done everything he could possibly do. So anyways, he comes off the ball in this drill, and if Reggie wanted to, he could just kind of wreck the drill all the time. Just kind of knock the people around and run. And
so you're trying to get a look, right?
Yeah, just want to get a look. Just need a body in front of you. And there's this young offensive lineman that's trying to prove himself, and he is blocking Reggie. And then after the play's over, he hits Reggie again. He hits him again, and he proceeds to use a profanity against Reggie.
Oh.
He said, F you, Reggie. Yeah. And Reggie said, hey, You don't got to say that. He said, the Lord loves you. And so then his coach tries, hey, Reggie, come on. He goes, no. He's outside. Stay in one more play. So Reggie stays in. And then I'm looking at Vince Workman, my buddy. He played at Ohio State. We're Packer buddies. And I said, Vince, we got ISO on Reggie on this one. I think he's upset. So literally on the next play, this Reggie fires off and lifts up this 310-pound offensive lineman like I pick up my grandchild, spikes him on the ground like this, and jogs by him, and then just takes the rest of the practice off.
Oh my gosh.
He unbuttoned his chin strap and he said, hey, the Lord still loves you. That was it. That's it. So he was.
That's got to be one of the most amazing things you probably ever seen.
I saw him do things in the game,
God, he was
and
amazing.
I saw him every once in a while in practice, and that probably happened. I think it happened once. I heard Brett tell us similar stories, and it probably every once in a while someone just trying to prove themselves, a young offensive lineman, and that's not who you want to try to prove yourself against. Not a legendary, potentially one of the top 1 or 2 defensive linemen of all time.
That's amazing. What a great story. I love what you do in keeping yourself connected to football in Minnesota, obviously with the Gophers, and you're, do a great job on the radio broadcast of the Gophers, but you're also connected in the high school football. You've been a part of that for a very long time. What is it about that you love about doing that?
I love football. Number one, I'd say, but I have I'm proud of what we do at Boulder Options every single day, but football is like probably the love of my life. Yep. So you fall in love with it, you get addicted to it. And I've been blessed to be able to call games for University of Minnesota, and they asked me to do some high school championship games. And I don't think I'll be the Lou Nanny of high school football, but I'm going to try to continue doing it. But it's fun to see the young men and the coaches and the effort. And there's always a handful of former Gophers, former teammates, other people that they have their Yuki Dozier son was playing last year in the state championship. So it's always fun to see other players and to see them. And also it's great football. It's just fun to have the opportunity to broadcast those games. And it's something I never achieved to go to the state championship. So I know how hard it is. Yeah. You got to have the brakes got to be right. You got to have a full team. Health. You can't have any injuries, and all those things happen to get to a Super Bowl, to get to a national championship, to get to a state championship. A lot of things got to be in line, and it's fun to be able to play my small role in it. All right,
last question. Put your coach's hat on for a second. There's running backs out there that want to end up being like you. They want to be a Darrell Thompson. What should they work on now, think about, strive for? What are the most important things right now for young running backs to be doing?
I think it's footwork. I think it's footwork and working on your...
When you say footwork, what should they do?
I just say you're learning to run and to be able to kind of read and feel the defense, the field where the defense goes, to be able to run away from the defense. And then the footwork is kind of the individual moves to decide if you're going to try to either run by someone, to cut to their inside shoulder, or if you're going to kind of set them up and try to get by them. So I think those are the things, particularly in the modern game. There's way more one-on-ones in space. It's a lot like basketball. It's just 4 more ISOs. And now we're getting a lot more running backs getting out in space or trying to even have someone isolated on the backside. And it's also a good way to know what to do. And in my era, they didn't work on one-on-one moves in space. And now they're working on, let's close the distance. Let me make a move on this guy and see if I can get by him, and not try to just run over him or pick a side, which is still a really, really viable option. Well, depending on your size and everything else.
When you played, was it just, I'm going to run you over?
No, I was trying to run people over for sure when there was no option. I came from Walter Payton was my idol. Earl Campbell was another one of my idols. I was going to surely make you feel me if there was that opportunity. I spent time in the weight room and I used to be fast, so I wanted to feel me. But I also was a fan of using your speed and getting the inside shoulder and trying to get to the end zone as well. You definitely can't run over everybody.
Well, thank you for doing this. Great insight as always, and we look forward to your continued coverage of high school football.
Thank you for having me on, Randy.
I appreciate
Great to see
it.
you again.
Thanks, Darrell. We'll be right back. 10K Construction is your one stop for all your general contracting needs, whether interior, exterior, residential, commercial, or multifamily properties. They build relationships with their clients, and that's how they've grown their business through referrals. Plus, they are teaming up with LP SmartSide to become Minnesota's premier siding installer. And they're also partnering with IKO Shingles as well. They've got the best of the best to do the job right. 10K Construction covers both Minnesota and Wisconsin. Now, the rumor is they charge a little extra because it's Packer land. I'm not sure about that, but what I am sure about, 10K Construction is the company you want handling all of your general contracting needs. Go to 10kconstruction.com for details. This episode is brought to you by 612 Quarterbacks, Minnesota's premier quarterback development program. At 612 Qs, they're committed to creating a high-quality quarterback development program, both affordable and accessible. Their training goes beyond the basics, not only focusing on proper throwing mechanics and footwork, but also building strong football IQ, leadership, and resilience. Their mission is to educate, inspire, and challenge athletes to raise their standards on the field and in life. Through training and mentorship, they're building more than quarterbacks. They're building a community rooted in growth, accountability, and shared success. Learn more today at 612quarterbacks.com. We're going to talk about the Guardian Cap and the use of the Guardian Cap in football games. You can see this right here. Rick Frickland is the head football coach at Park Cottage Grove. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
We did a story together when this first came out. You were the first team in Minnesota to make the decision to use the Guardian Cap on the football helmets in a real game.
Correct.
That's been 2 years now.
Correct.
Right? So we're heading into year 3. What have you learned? I know that we talk about data.
Mm-hmm.
Is there data? Does it prove anything? You tell me, what have you learned?
Yeah, thank you for having me back again. I do appreciate that. We do have data, but I like to say correlation is not causation. And I want to be clear that we've implemented some other changes as well that could probably impact for some of the numbers that we have, but we have noticed a year-over-year reduction in concussions or concussion-like symptoms that we see. Obviously, my athletic trainer is not a medical doctor, so she just uses whatever criterion that she has. But we have noticed a decline in the positive direction, obviously, when I say decline in the amount of concussions or concussion-like injuries we have year over year. We have made changes to our tackling and practicing. Obviously, the state of Minnesota always adjusts to keep player safety first and foremost. So while we cannot say this is the thing that has caused this, we definitely know from when we implemented it to now that there is a significant correlation in a positive way to keep the game safer for us.
And you use this also in practice.
Correct.
All the time.
Correct.
So that reduces the possibility. And just talk about, what does this do? In your eyes, what does the Guardian Cap do?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it reduces the impact of body to body, helmet to helmet, any sort of contact. This material does have some flex and give. It's kind of a foam that will give a little bit. So if you have some padding, just like when you're a little kid rolling around at a slumber party, right, it reduces the impact that you feel. And some of the research does show that it's not the big hits, but subconcussive cumulative effects over a while. So if we can reduce the impact that actually goes through the padding, then it has to go through the helmet before it actually gets into the brain. I think that's a good thing. Guardian Cap says it reduces some of the ambient air temperature around. So in the high heat of the summer or 2 days, that's obviously great to have. We really like it because football is a game that a lot of people have a lot of questions about, and some very legitimate questions. And anything I can do to look a mother in the eye and say we're keeping your son or daughter, because we have several young ladies that play in our program, as safe as we possibly can, I'm going to make sure that we do that. So this one, it's backed up by scientific data. In my opinion, it's backed up by the data we have at Park High School. And it can keep the game safe. And football is such a great game. I want to do everything I can to continue it.
So when I talk to coaches around the metro, around the state, and we have discussions about the Guardian Cap, and they obviously know what you've been doing the last couple of years. Some of them kind of look at it and say, well, one of the things coach is doing is trying to ease the concerns of the parents. Obviously, that's part of this, right? Is to ease the concerns of the parents. But their question is, when you play in the games, if both teams had Guardian Caps, when you don't wear the Guardian Cap, there's that slide factor of the helmets.
Mm-hmm.
They don't kind of connect or whatever. Do you see that as a legitimate discussion by them, that if both teams were wearing the Guardian cap, you wouldn't have that slide, that friction?
So just to be clear, you're talking about a glancing blow.
Yeah,
if it would just be a helmet.
when you go helmet to helmet, yeah.
No, I don't see an issue with that. And we have, just to be fair, we send our game film every single week since we've done this to Guardian Caps in the labs at the NFL, because they were curious about our data too, because they hadn't done, and now we see certain players being allowed to opt into it. So I would guess that since the NFL then made their change to allow for wearing this in game, that they probably saw something on our game. Again, I don't know, I'm not an expert, right? But I know that they looked at our data and our game tape, and they probably would not have made a change if they had a safety concern in some way.
What has been the response from Guardian Cap since you've been doing it for 2 years? What have they said to you?
Well, we got our color.
And this is a big deal too, by the way, because Park's color is green.
Correct.
In the first year, you had different color Guardian Caps because obviously they didn't customize them.
Correct.
But now they do.
Correct. Yep. So when we started wearing them, we were in white. That was just the ones that we had purchased right off the bat when we finally got clearance to allow them, because originally the helmet manufacturers and Guardian Caps had a little bit of a disagreement on voiding a warranty.
Right.
So we had white, and it was very apparent when it's white that you're wearing it.
Yep.
It does look a little bit like a marshmallow. And when it gets dirty, obviously it magnifies a little bit more too.
Right.
And Guardian Caps did then add to their production line a green color. So I know that not every school color is out there. But as you see, now that it's green, it looks a little different than a couple years ago when we met, because you can't see it from afar. It doesn't really look very different at all. And again, after a couple plays, even if you do notice this, it kind of blends into the game. You're just watching the game. Guardian Caps has changed the contours, so they have a second generation one, because some teams just want the logo on it, right? And I totally get that. That's part of the fun of high school and college football. And so the new color, they have new contours. We're not wearing those new contours yet, but the response from Guardian Caps, like I said, we have that relationship where we share game film. They're checking in on us. I know that they've made some sales since doing what we've done. That's not why we're doing what we do, right? But I know it's leading to more coaches keeping the game safer. And to me, I think that's a great thing.
Let's talk about the trickle-down effect.
Yeah.
Because you guys decide to wear these as a varsity football program, but it's in your youth program.
Correct.
I mean, your youth program, and it's a big undertaking. It's a large expense, but your youth program are wearing these too,
correct? Yep. And I'm very fortunate that we have some great community partners in the St. Paul Park, Cottage Grove, Newport area that saw what we're doing and have donated funds for that. But yes, every single student athlete in grades 3 through 12 that plays tackle football in Park is wearing a Guardian cap. So my son's in second grade. Next year when he plays tackle football, he will have a Guardian cap that he will wear there. Because again, the question we got from the moms, they always kind of know how to cut to the court. Well, if it's safe for high school, why aren't we doing here? And I said, absolutely, we need to do that. So the first year, I believe we had 6th, 7th, and 8th in it. And then the youth organization and myself were able to find some very generous partners to bring it all the way down from 3rd grade all the way up.
Last question. You know, there was this, when you guys first started doing this a couple of years ago, there was that stigma a little bit. Of, looks weird, whatever. Do you get that anymore from your players, or do you get that anymore from your opponents? Because you're wearing it.
No. And in fact, you know, that first year it was like, oh, that's what they look like. And, you know, and talking to the referee, like, hey, if it pops off, it's actually okay. Because if a helmet comes off, the player does need to leave the game. But with this, if it would ever come off, they don't. The most we've ever had is just the back raises up a little bit. So you just push it back down and it's fine. But people have gotten used to it. And the color does make a big difference because it just blends in naturally with what our school colors and the tone of the helmet is. So I think part of that, making it look a little more sleek and streamlined and part of the uniform, has removed some of the, oh, look, they're wearing a marshmallow on their head.
Right. Well, I know your reasons for doing this was not to be the first or not to be the pioneer in this, but you've become that in some ways. And I know there's a lot of coaches and people in the high school league that they're watching. They're keeping track and keeping an eye on what you're doing. So congratulations for hanging with this. And obviously it's working for you guys. So that's great. Appreciate you coming in.
Yep,
Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll take a break. We'll be back. I was visiting with my friends at True Stone Financial the other day. They're a warm and welcoming group. They're known as the Neighborhood Credit Union, and I can't think of a better way to describe them. When I'm at True Stone, I feel like I'm chatting with my neighbors. Combine that personality with a full menu of services and a lot of financial expertise, and you have a winning combination. Whether I need a checking account, a car loan, or even a mortgage, I know I'm going to work with some very smart, friendly people. With 23 locations in Minnesota and Wisconsin, you're not far from a True Stone neighborhood. Visit a branch near you or learn more at truestone.org. True Stone is an equal housing opportunity lender. Our Talk North games of the week on Friday, September 12th, 6 o'clock start, Moorhead at Minnetonka, 2 unbeaten teams in Class 6A. And in Greater Minnesota, unbeatens and 4A rivals, Casson Manorville at Stewartville, 2 great competitors in Southeast Minnesota. The Shaver Prep Football Podcast drops every Monday, and you can catch us on YouTube and where podcasts can be found. My thanks to Alex Haugen and the great folks here at Talk North. Thanks for watching and listening, and we'll see you next week.